Faith has to have an object, and every human being has faith in something. So when I get into my car and I go to drive somewhere, I have faith that my vehicle will operate correctly and that I will control my vehicle well enough to get to where I'm going. I have faith that others on the road will stay in their lane and they will follow the traffic laws. When a scientist goes in to perform an experiment or to collect data, he has faith that his eyes will perceive correctly whatever it is that he's studying. And when you sit down at a restaurant to eat a meal, you have faith that the chef washed his hands, right? Or that the ingredients that they're using are safe for consumption. You don't have proof of any of these things, but you just sort of trust that these things will work out and that they will function according to our normal experience. But the very fact that we have normal experiences paves the way for abnormal experiences, right? Strange things are only strange because we have a normal with which to compare it. And so we come to claims about a child born to a virgin, or a man who is the Son of God, and that same man dying on a cross and being raised back to life 3 days later. These are abnormal claims, way beyond the norm. And it seems that we cannot properly verify these claims. It seems that there's some doubt concerning their reliability. But faith is asking us to trust anyway. Trust the abnormal, the supernatural, the unseen. Okay, again, Hebrews says in the verse that follows our memory verse, it says, by faith we understand that the universe has been created by a word from God, so that the visible came into existence from the invisible. See, we have it all backwards. As scientifically minded people, we set out to prove the unseen by way of what is seen, right? We seek ways to observe the invisible. Microscopes are a good example. They reveal to our eyes a normally unseen reality, right? But it's backwards. Again, the material world, our world, is only secondary. It's not the end-all, be-all. Creation, the universe, this material world has been created by a word from God so that the visible came into existence from the invisible. Hebrews declares that we understand this fact by faith. We want to start with what we can see with our eyes. And then through scientific endeavors, we advance into the world of microscopes and x-rays and medical tests and whatnot, so that we begin to be able to see what is unseen. But again, it's backwards. The visible came into existence from the invisible. The invisible is primary. The invisible is the priority. But the invisible is also hard to believe. But think of it this way. If I had a complete volume, if we as humans had a complete volume of scientific data that proved unequivocally every facet of the gospel story, then there would be no need for faith. If the resurrection could be demonstrated in some sort of experiment and proven as a scientific law, then there is no place for faith. Right? If the virgin birth could be explained through the discovery of some new properties of physical matter, or whatever, faith then becomes obsolete. So if the gospel story could be verified scientifically, we would not have to trust in the story itself. We would just have to trust in our senses. We would trust in our ability to acquire and compile information. We would trust in our ability to understand information. And so this would simply just be another way of bolstering faith in ourselves.